At the very beginning of the story, we see a prison deep inside Siberia, a cold, silent place. Here, dozens and dozens of German soldiers are standing in long lines, shoulder to shoulder, their faces drained of hope. After World War II ended, Russia captured a huge number of German soldiers and turned them into prisoners. These men weren't just locked away. They were forced to work day and night in coal mines, breathing dust, darkness, and exhaustion with every single breath. The strange thing was, the security of this prison wasn't very strong. There weren't massive walls everywhere, not endless watchtowers, not tight patrols at every step, and yet no one ever tried to escape. Because outside this prison, there was nothing, only snow, endless snow. The prison was built in the middle of a frozen wasteland, thousands and thousands of kilometers of ice spreading out in every direction. The nearest human settlement was almost 14,000 kilometers away. 14,000. If any prisoner somehow escaped, the Siberian cold would finish the job. Death was guaranteed. Slow, painful, inevitable. That's why no one even dared to think about escaping. No one, except one man. Among all these prisoners was a man with a razor-sharp mind, a man who refused to accept that this frozen hell would be the end of his story. He wanted to go back to his wife, back to his daughter, back to a life that still existed somewhere beyond the snow. His name was Klemen Fajerl. Klemen had been sentenced to 25 years in this prison. 25 years. Half a lifetime. And he knew, deep down, that if he stayed here that long, he wouldn't come out alive anyway. He didn't want to let half his life rot inside these walls. No matter what it took, Klemen wanted to escape. One day, luck finally showed its face. Klemen managed to slip into a coal-carrying freight train and escape the prison. When he stepped outside and saw the open sky, real sky, with stars scattered across it, he almost couldn't believe it. He felt drunk on freedom. For the first time in years, he looked up and felt alive. But that happiness didn't last long. After the train traveled a short distance, it suddenly stopped. Klemen leaned forward and peeked outside, and his heart sank. A Russian soldier stood right there, rifle pointed straight at him. His luck had run out. Klemen was captured again. This time, for trying to escape, he wasn't sent back to a normal cell. He was thrown into an open-air cell. No roof, no protection, just the sky above and frozen ground below. The cold was unbearable, and that night, rain poured down, soaking him completely. His body trembled, his teeth chattered, his strength drained away. He wasn't kept there for a few hours, not even one night. They left him there for 2 full days. 2 days of freezing wind, wet clothes, pain that crept into his bones and refused to leave. After 2 days, early the next morning, the prison warden finally came. He took Klemen out of the cell. No torture, no shouting, no beating. He just said one thing: your fellow prisoners are desperately waiting for you. At first, Klemen didn't understand what that meant, but the moment he reached the other prisoners, the truth hit him hard. They were standing there with sticks and clubs in their hands, eyes burning with anger. They had been waiting for him. Because of Klemen's escape attempt, all of them had been punished. For 2 days, they had been kept hungry. No food, no mercy. Now Klemen understood why the warden had said those words. The moment the prisoners saw him, they attacked. They beat him mercilessly. Blows landed again and again, wood against flesh, anger pouring out with every strike. Klemen was beaten so badly that he had to be admitted to the prison hospital. The doctor there was also a German prisoner. When Klemen finally regained consciousness, bruised and broken, the first thing he said to the doctor was this: I want to escape again, and I need your help. The doctor was stunned, truly stunned. After everything Klemen had endured, after the cold, the punishment, the beating, he still refused to give up. The doctor tried to reason with him. He told him the truth. Escaping this prison alive was almost impossible. Even if he somehow made it out, the freezing cold outside would kill him. But there was another truth too. If Klemen stayed, his death was guaranteed anyway. The coal mines they worked in were filled with deadly carbon. It entered their bodies through the air they breathed. Over time, it caused diseases like cancer, slow kills, silence. So the doctor finally said something unexpected: you should try to escape one last time. After that, the doctor gave Klemen everything he had been saving: warm clothes, strong shoes, all the supplies he could manage. He even told Klemen that the Russian soldiers hid their food near the railway lines, and then he handed him a gun so he could protect himself. The truth was, the doctor had been planning his own escape too. He had gathered all these things for himself. But a week earlier, he had discovered that he had cancer, terminal cancer. He had less than a month to live. Now he gave Klemen a lunchbox and said quietly, if you survive, take this to my family. Tell them I am no longer in this world. Once again, under the cover of night, Klemen escaped. This time he didn't take a train. This time he chose to walk. He walked all night. And when morning came, he kept walking. He was terrified that a Russian soldier might catch him if he stopped. When the warden found out that Klemen had escaped again, he stormed straight to the doctor's room. He wanted answer, but before the warden could reach him, the doctor took his own life. He knew that once the warden heard about Klemen's escape, he would torture him to death. The warden sent multiple Russian soldiers to search for Klemen. He ordered them to bring him back alive. Days passed. Still, there was no sign of Klemen. His luck hadn't abandoned him yet. Snowfall had begun, slowly erasing his footprints. The trail disappeared, swallowed by white silence. Soon everyone began to believe that Clement had frozen to death. Everyone except the warden. The warden knew Clement. He knew how strong he was. He knew this was not a man who gave up easily, so he ordered the search to continue. And on the other side of this frozen nightmare, we see Clement, still moving forward, pushing through the snowstorm, driven by pure will. 9 days after escaping the prison, something strange happened. Out of nowhere, Clement started hearing dogs barking, loud, close, getting closer. His heart jumped, and the moment he turned around, he saw a sled racing straight toward him. Before he could even think about running, the sled reached him, climbed right over him, and passed ahead. And then Clement's eyes snapped open. It wasn't real. It had all been a dream. The truth was far worse. Clement had been walking on foot for 9 straight days. No rest, no shelter, and now his food was completely gone. Hunger clawed at his stomach. Exhaustion weighed down every step. His body begged him to stop, to lie down, to give up, but Clement didn't. Somehow, forcing himself forward, step by step, he kept moving. Days passed like this, and then one day, his body finally gave in. Weak from hunger, drained of strength, Clement collapsed and lost consciousness. A few hours later, he slowly came back to his senses. As his vision cleared, he heard a strange sound nearby, soft, alive. He looked around, and suddenly, he saw a seal. The moment he saw it, his eyes lit up. Hope, real hope. After days of nothing, he immediately pulled out his gun and tried to aim with all the strength he had left, but his hands were shaking. His body was too weak. The shot missed. The seal panicked and started to flee. Clement had waited too long for this chance. He couldn't let it slip away. Not now. Not like this. He chased after it, but while running, the ice beneath his feet cracked. In an instant, Clement plunged into freezing water. Pain shot through his leg as he slammed into the ice. He was injured. Still, he didn't stop. Dragging himself forward, wounded and soaked, he kept chasing the seal. Just as he was about to fire again, the seal disappeared behind a rock. Clement moved closer, slowly, carefully. He spotted it again. The seal was about to slip into the water. Clement fired his last bullet, and this time, luck was on his side. The bullet hit. Clement burst into tears of relief. He laughed, he cried, he shook with joy. For the first time in days, he no longer had to worry about food. After many days of starvation, Clement finally ate until his stomach was full. He rested for a while, let his body breathe, and then, once again, he continued his journey. Now, in this endless journey, Clement was completely alone. As far as the eye could see, there was nothing but snow. White, silent, empty. In a place like this, the mind can break. So Clement talked to himself, out loud. He reminded himself to stay positive. He encouraged himself again and again, just to keep moving forward. At all times, he kept checking his compass. One wrong turn, and he could disappear forever in this frozen valley. Days passed like this, then weeks. And finally, after 2 continuous months of walking, Clement saw something unbelievable. A small tree, just one. When he saw it, his heart exploded with joy. It felt like he had found treasure. He ran toward it and hugged the tree tightly as if it were a living being. That tree was proof. Proof that after 2 months of walking, Clement had crossed the frozen plains. Ahead of him, a forest was about to begin, and just a little further on, exactly what he hoped for happened. The snowy land ended. The forest began. Clement was overwhelmed with happiness. He collected wood, lit a fire, and for the first time in many months, he slept peacefully. Whether the next day would be peaceful or not, no one could know. On the other side, the warden was still obsessed with finding Clement. He ordered his search party to look for him within a radius of 500 kilometers. Meanwhile, Clement was moving through the forest when suddenly a massive snowstorm hit. The wind howled. The storm was so violent that huge trees were ripped from the ground and thrown aside. As Clement tried to move forward, a massive tree came crashing down directly on top of him. By sheer luck, 2 men passed through the area that evening. They were gold hunters. They spotted Clement just in time and saved his life. After that, the 3 of them continued the journey together. After many days, they finally made it out of the frozen plains. Along the way, they came across a river. To cross it, they built a small wooden boat. As they drifted across, they started talking, sharing stories, childhood memories, laughing softly. But suddenly, the river's current grew stronger. The boat lost control. One of the men lost his balance and fell straight into the water. He didn't know how to swim. He began to drown. Without thinking, Clement jumped into the river. Fighting the current, he somehow dragged the man to shore and saved his life. But the third man did something unforgivable. He left them behind and continued alone. He was greedy. He believed the other 2 would die, and driven by greed, he kept his friend's gold for himself. Sometime later, when Clement and the other man reached the tent, the man realized what had happened. Rage consumed him. He shot the greedy man and killed him. After that, Clement and the survivor gathered the supplies and continued their journey. For months, they kept walking, driven by one hope, that they would finally find human civilization. Then winter returned. Once again, the forests disappeared under a thick white blanket of snow. The supplies the man carried were heavy, too heavy. Walking through the snow became harder and harder for him. Seeing this, Kleeman offered to help. He said, "Let me carry some of your load for a while." But doubt crept into the man's mind. He suspected Clemen wanted to steal his gold. Without warning, he attacked Clemen and shoved him to the ground. Clemen lost consciousness. When he woke up, his blood ran cold. A pack of wolves was approaching. Terrified, Clemen tried to climb a tree, but as he climbed, one wolf grabbed his leg. The tree itself was weak. It snapped in the middle, and Clemen fell hard onto the ground. At that moment, he was sure this was the end. Then, gunshots. Clemen opened his eyes. Some wolves lay dead. The rest had fled. Hunters from the area had arrived and saved his life. They took him to their village. The villagers treated his injuries and cared for him. After years of suffering, Clemen had finally reached human civilization. Seeing people again filled him with indescribable joy. He stayed in the village for many days. The villagers welcomed him warmly, fed him, protected him. Then one day, a letter arrived. It was from the warden. The letter said that a German soldier had escaped from the prison, and anyone who sheltered him would be considered a traitor. Even though he didn't want to, Clemen had to leave the village, because if he stayed, the warden would punish the villagers too. Before leaving, the villagers gave him food supplies and a hunting dog. For the first time in this long, cruel journey, Kleeman wasn't alone anymore. He had a companion now, a living, breathing presence beside him. Because of that dog, the silence didn't feel so heavy. The loneliness didn't bite as hard. The two of them walked together for many days. One day, along the way, they spotted a wooden factory in the distance. The dog, smelling food, suddenly ran toward it. Instinctively, Kleeman followed. He couldn't leave the dog behind. As soon as he stepped inside, the workers froze. They recognized him. Quiet whispers spread, eyes widened, and before Clemen could react, they took him to the factory owner. There, Clemen told his entire story. Every escape, every loss, every year spent running from death. The owner and the workers listened in silence. When he finished, pity filled the room. They fed him, gave him warmth, and then they put him on a train heading toward Germany. Kleeman felt relief flood his chest. He believed the end was finally near. He believed he was going home. But what he didn't know was that the factory owner had already informed the warden. The warden was waiting at the station with soldiers. Before the train reached the station, Clemen saw them from a distance. Russian soldiers. Too familiar. Too close. Without wasting a second, he jumped off the moving train and ran. Unfortunately, the soldiers saw him. They chased him. Clemen ran across the tracks, breath tearing through his chest. And then, out of nowhere, the warden himself appeared in front of him. Clemen's heart sank. In that moment, it felt like years of suffering, years of walking, years of surviving had all been for nothing. Just as the warden was about to arrest him, something unexpected happened. Clemen's dog attacked the warden, bit him, held him back. Once again, fate cracked open a door. Clemen ran. With everything he had left, he ran like a man who had already lost too much to stop now. Then, gunshots. Clemen turned around. His dog lay still, dead. For a moment, grief crushed him. The loss burned deep, but even then, he didn't stop. He couldn't. He carried that pain forward and kept running. He climbed onto a bridge, and without hesitation, he jumped onto a train passing below. Just like that, he slipped out of the warden's hands again. Time passed. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into months. Kleeman kept moving forward, slowly, stubbornly, refusing to die. And then, suddenly, it was 1952. 7 years had passed since he escaped the prison. 7 years of running. At that time, Clemen was in Central Asia, wandering through a village fair. There were stalls everywhere. Food, smells, life. His stomach twisted with hunger. He wanted to eat, badly, but he had no money. So he swallowed his desire and walked on. Then he noticed two girls selling pancakes. Golden, warm, soft. His mouth watered, but his pockets were empty. Not even a single coin. Disappointed, he turned away, but one of the girls felt sorry for him. She broke off a piece of the pancake and handed it to him. At first, Kleeman felt awkward, ashamed. Then he thanked them quietly and ate, slowly, carefully. Someone else had been watching. A man nearby had seen everything. Later, Clemen went into a church. The man followed him inside. That man, once upon a time, had been a prisoner too. He recognized something familiar in Clemen. He didn't turn him in. Instead, he helped him. He took Clemen to his home. There, after many years, Clemen shaved, cleaned himself, and for the first time in forever, he looked like the man he used to be. The man gave him a new passport, a way to cross the Russian border, and finally reach Germany. Clemen was overwhelmed with gratitude. After thanking him, he set off toward the border between Russia and Germany. Weeks later, he finally reached it. He handed his passport to the Russian guard. His heart pounded. Fear crept in. What if the guard recognized him? What if the fake passport was exposed? But nothing happened. The guard allowed him to cross. Clemen couldn't stop smiling. Joy spilled out of him uncontrollably. At last, he stood on the bridge that would take him home. But halfway across, a blinding light hit his eyes. When he looked up, the warden stood before him. Kleeman turned back. He was still on Russian soil. still, which meant the warden could still arrest him. His heart broke. Years of struggle felt like they were about to turn to dust. Then, something unbelievable happened. The warden stepped aside. He let Clement pass. At first, Clement couldn't believe it, but slowly, carefully, he moved forward. The warden had seen something in him. His will to live, his courage, his refusal to break. And the warden said, "This fight was only between two soldiers. One was me, one was you, and you won. Go live your life." Clement crossed the border. He reached Germany. Soon after, he reached his home. He saw his wife, his daughter. Later, when they left for church, Clement followed them inside. He didn't call out. He waited, because somewhere inside, his daughter had always believed her father would return. She turned around. She recognized him. She ran. She hugged him. After all those years, seeing Clement alive filled his wife with indescribable joy. The three of them embraced. And with that, this true story comes to an end. I hope you liked today's story. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.